Good morning, Hernandez students. I'm Mrs. H. I'm the IB coordinator here at Hernandez, which means I'm in charge of the IB program. Remember, Hernandez is an IB World School, as is Stony Point right next to us. And so this is, remember, the IB logo. If you see this on the front of the school, that's what it means, as we're an IB World School. And so today we're going to be talking a little bit more about the IB program. What is IB and what it means for us as students at Hernandez. Again, the IB program stands for International Baccalaureate Program. And again, those are two big fancy words, international and baccalaureate. Obviously, international means worldwide. And baccalaureate is just a big word that just means a program that we study. So we're studying about things and we're bringing in international things into Hernandez. And remember, this is from last time. This is the model, the MYP model for the IB program. So each of the IB programs, whether it's a IB program at an elementary school. We have the IB program for the middle school, which is called the Middle Years Program. And then Stony Point has years 4 and 5 of the Middle Years Program. And then they also have what is called as the IB Diploma Program. And so you as middle school students, all Hernandez middle school students are IB students. When you go to Hernandez, though, you can be part of the IB Diploma Program, which means you will graduate with an IB Diploma, which is kind of cool. Whoops, let's go back one. And so if you remember, we'll go back one more. I was going to point this out to you guys. A main part, or these are the main parts of the IB program. And this ring right here talks about action and service and how it's a big, big part of what we do as IB World School students. And so we'll have opportunities this year to be part of service. And then our 8th graders, notice right here, will participate in the community project. The personal project actually will take place for the 10th graders at Stony Point. And so how important is service learning within the IB? Every year, we partner with a local nonprofit. Yesterday, we talked about how last year, Hernandez Middle School partnered with a local nonprofit called the Miracle Foundation, where we helped bring awareness to and also fundraised for Miracle Foundation and orphans in India. So for this year, we're focusing on water awareness and bringing clean water to communities that do not have the clean water. And Well Aware, again, is a local nonprofit. They're also located in Austin, Texas. And so this year we're going to be learning about countries in Africa where they can't just turn on a faucet, they can't just take a shower. Everything that they have as far as water is carried up, sometimes up to 3, 4, 5 miles from the only source of water they have, which is probably a local stagnant pond. Which means it's not clean water. And so a lot of the people, not only do they struggle to get water, but when they have water and they drink the water, their kids get sick, they get sick because it's not clean. And so we'll be talking about the science behind it and what we can do to help these communities. And so before we go on, this is a brief video that talks about Sarah Evans. She was the one that started Well Aware and about her journey.
Almost 1 billion people in the world, almost 1 out of every 7 of us, do not have access to clean drinking water. Without clean water, girls don't go to school. Women have to walk all day to get water. There's no chance for agriculture. There can be no health clinic. Without clean water, there is no prosperity for a community. Water is the beginning and the foundation of anything and everything. Well Aware is a nonprofit organization that is providing sustainable, clean water systems in East Africa. I started out in my professional career as a lawyer, and I was recruited to help on a project in Kenya to replace some of the livestock that were dying in this village. And I proposed that we drill a water well to help to mitigate the problem that we were trying to address. There was this one little girl who was following me around in the field when we were drilling, and when we finally hit water and there was water just spewing out of the ground, it was incredible. She was saying to me, Maji Maji, which means water in Swahili. And I picked her up and held her and gave her the water, and she drank it in just one big gulp. It was that trip and that moment that inspired me to drop everything else and work on this work. I had to sell the house, I sold my car, I gave up what had been my life plan up until that point to do this work. I just knew it could work, and I knew it needed to work. Hi, honey. Being a single mom is not easy for anybody. I start to talk to her a couple weeks before I leave and let her know where I'm going, and we look at where mommy's going to be. And we're talking about the water wells and how people don't have water. And she said, "But mommy, I can go too. I have a shovel. I can help you dig." I was doing this work before I had a daughter. I was not on one of our trips because she had just been born. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Just this flood of emotion because I could not imagine not being able to feed my child. I could not imagine wondering whether or not what I was providing for her was going to make her sick. So that was it for me. When we go into new communities, we do see that there's also incredible need for education intervention or agricultural training, gender equality education. But we know that none of that can be done until there is a source of clean water available in the community. We worked in a northern region of Kenya called Isiolo.
My name is Sarah, and we are from Austin, Texas.
Collaboration is so important, being a local government offices, the drilling contractors, the suppliers, and then other NGOs. From the very beginning to the handoff of the water system, it's collaboration every step of the way.
Yay!
We see disease rates drop like almost overnight once we have clean water in a community. So that's the reward.
When Sarah goes to Africa, she embeds herself in the community. She's literally getting in the mud, in the water, in the communities, in the village.
Innovation is very important to the work that we do. We have our finger on the pulse of technology. Oftentimes electricity isn't even available, and solar is the cheapest to install and then is almost maintenance free and is completely cost free for the community. The system should last at least 20 or 30 years. My favorite part of my job is going back into communities to be able to see the changes that are happening. Being a mother of invention, it's a huge honor for me, and I get really excited when I get to be a part of something that will help us spread awareness.
All right, so we don't want to start
Almost 1
that
billion.
again. All right. And so we were really excited with the work that we did. We actually partnered with Well Aware 3 years ago at Hernandez. And in the springtime, they do something that's called Shower Strike. And we'll talk more about it a little bit later, but with the funds that we were able to raise along with Grisham Middle School, they're the other middle school in Round Rock ISD that has the IB program, we were able to have enough funds that we were able to help rehabilitate a broken well in Balawala, Tanzania. And for World Water Week, we had Sarah, who you'll recognize in this picture right here. She was the one that was just in the video. She was the one that founded or started Well Aware about 12 years ago. And you guys will probably notice this gym right here. This is the Hernandez Bulldog Gym. And here is Sarah Evans speaking to our students at that time. And so we're really, really, really excited to partner with Well Aware once again. And we'll have various experiences this year. You'll be able to talk about it in some of your classes. In 6th grade, we'll talk about the geography of Africa, Tanzania, that area, also some of the cultural aspects. And then as 7th grade, we'll talk about the science behind clean water, what it takes in order to bring clean water to the communities. And as 8th graders, we'll talk about the philanthropy aspect of Well Aware. And philanthropy just means that you give back to your community and you help in any way you can. So we're really, really excited with what we're doing with Well Aware this year. If you're in our main hallway, notice on the one of the main bulletin boards there, the Hernandez Happenings bulletin board, we have some posters just as a visual for our project this year. So stay tuned. We're going to learn more about Well Aware this year, about clean water and what we can do as Hernandez IB students to help those that are halfway around the world. All right, and how do we do that? With Well Aware, that is our school-wide IB community project. And you will see this in your classes for 6th, for 7th, and for 8th grade. This is what is called the IB design cycle. And whenever you have a big project to work on, whether that be in the classroom or whether it be like the project that we're going to help Well Aware, you can use the design cycle and the 4 different parts of the design cycle in order to get things done. And so the first part is you investigate. Do you know that there's a problem, an issue? For example, with Well Aware, they knew that these communities weren't getting water. So what can you do about it? You have to investigate. You have to know what you're dealing with. And then after you investigate and figure out what you're dealing with, then you start the planning stage. What can we do in order to help these people? Remember, Sarah Evans, she was originally sent in to help with livestock that were dying. And she said it doesn't help to replace the cattle if there's no water for the villages and for the cattle as well. And so once you investigate and you know the problem, you start to plan to see what you can do to help. Then you take action. And then after you take action, then the last part is you reflect on the success of the action. So again, 6th graders, they're going to learn more about this design cycle in your IB design class. 7th and 8th graders, you probably have already seen and used the IB design cycle. The 8th graders specifically will be using the IB design cycle not only in your classes, but also as you plan your own IB community project a little bit later this year. All right, so what does the IB Community Project look like? This is an independent project for 8th graders. It is a requirement of the IB. You will be graded for your IB Community Project, but don't panic yet, 8th graders. We don't start the IB Community Project officially until late November, early December. So we definitely have some time to gather some ideas. And these are some of the IB community projects that we did a couple of years ago prior to COVID. All right, another part of the IB is the IB Learner Profile. And we have 10 IB Learner Profile traits that you'll see the posters around the school that we, in practicing these traits, you will show as an IB World student that you can become a more responsible member of your local, your national, and your global communities. And our IB Learner Profile trait for August is caring, and our IB Learner Profile trait for September is inquiring. And so as we continue with that, we'll have your teachers can nominate you to get a certificate saying that you're the IB Student of the Month for caring, or you're the IB Student of the Month for inquirer. All right, so next time we'll talk a little bit more. If you look right here in this puzzle, these are all of the 10 traits of the IB Learner Profile. We have knowledgeable, risk takers, reflective, communicators, balanced, open-minded, inquirers, thinkers, principled, and caring. So that's it for today, Bulldogs. I have posted some questions, some discussion questions in Schoology, so you and your teacher with your flex class can talk about those and then write down some of your responses. So with that, Hernandez, we will see you next time for our next edition of IB Advisory.